All right, we'll see if we did that right. Apparently we did. What's up, Sniffle? All right, so we are in the Patreon live stream. It looks like there we got people coming in. We got Christopher Sexton coming in. By the way, I gotta warn you, Chris. In the video we just filmed, I did name drop the shit out of you. We may have to talk you into sending me a picture if you can. And what, here's why. So we did a clutch update, which does mean more animals coming to sale for you guys. I'll go ahead and let one cat out the bag now on that too, so you guys know what to expect. But it is clutch number 16, and I didn't think about this when I did it, but that was the one that had the calendar with the kink tail, and we sent that out just because of the fact that it needed a good home, and Chris took it as a pet only. But we don't. We're doing this clutch update, and I'm like, shit, I have this snake that's gone. So I'm telling him, well, this is why it's gone. You know, one of our Patreon members stepped up and took this animal, and this is why. But then I didn't get to show it. So I may try to talk you into sending me a picture of it, just so we can cut in and show a picture of it that is alive and doing well. That might be helpful. Here's the other thing I want to let you guys know right now, while we're covering it, is this is a snake that has made this clutch update take so long. I got a couple in clutch 17 that have been a little bit of a problem feeders too. But this is a guy who's teeny tiny in clutch 16. He's in shed right now, so he looks worse than he actually is. He's still really small, 60 some grams. And we've been having to assist feed him and everything else this entire time. But because of that, we haven't been, we haven't done the clutch update. But everybody else is going to be like 140 grams. He's on the struggle bus. So we went ahead and did the clutch update. But this little guy here is not going to be for sale yet. Now, I will sell him when we get him going, but I just don't feel good selling him when he's not thriving. So we will have to keep him and see if we can't get him going. If we can get him going, of course, we'll sell him. I did not assist feed him this week, just because of the simple fact that it really wasn't needed. Somebody pooped over here. I don't know who did it, but I can smell it. It really wasn't needed. He just was last week, and we'll kind of keep putting it out there. And that might just be what we're doing. I haven't seen the Gen 3s. He told me he was working on something new, but I'm also looking forward to the new cage one. And the one, yeah, it does. It's a cool little calendar, man, but I don't feel right until I know it's got the best chance. And right now at 60 some grams with me having to cram food in it, I need to get that thing eating on its own, get it growing, and we'll see if it works. So, thank you, Lane. We really appreciate that. What you're going to find, and you did it right. A lot of new members don't do this right, but when we do the live streams here, you got to come onto the YouTube link to comment. So I'm glad you're here. You're going to find what I hope you'll find in Patreon, and what I think you are going to find is, well, we started it, Lane, with not knowing what to expect, and it's been awesome. But it's now become about much more than Olympus Reptiles. And with the Patreon comes all these other people who are on here, and will also help if you have questions. And I don't know what everybody's knowledge level always is, and you may find that you get to help other people with questions. And what I love about it is it ends up being a very welcoming and a very nice group. We don't get the same things I saw on Facebook when I first started, which was people were afraid to ask questions because somebody was going to rip into them, even myself at times. And you don't get that here, and that's what I love about this place. So you're going to get a safe place. And I hate using the term safe place because I just hate it, but that's really what you do get. And here I think it fits. It is a safe place to talk about the hobby, share, ask questions, get help, get advice, give help, give advice without somebody wanting just to try to tear other people down and pissing me off. So it's great. You're going to love it here, I think. I hope, anyway, because I really do. Of all the things we've done in the reptile hobby, this is probably my favorite one. So, man, it can be, though, can it, Samantha? Like, it's it just, well, I'm glad you caught one there, Cricket. It's good to have you here. We have a lot of new people on Patreon, so I'm excited about that, and hopefully we can keep it going. If it stays, oh man, I'm telling you what, that rat is killing me because it always flies in front of me nuts. But oh man, you know what, Ariana? I'll tell you what, it's not as bad here as it is on Facebook. Like I don't get as many people complaining and bitching and moaning here. Like when I say here, I mean YouTube. Not here, we don't get it at all. But Facebook, it's just a cesspool. You know, what I always kind of relate it to is, and this is what really turned me off of it. Is you see these people and they've gone to Petco, right, or PetSmart, or any big box pet store you want to name, and they bought this kit and they bought this ball python and they put it all together and they're so freaking excited. And of course, their friends are like, "Ew, you bought a snake? That's disgusting." So they want to talk to people who are as excited as they are. So they go to Facebook and they find a group and they join the group, they get approved, and then boom, they post it, right? And they're so excited, and then everybody just tears them down. And you'll get one person like, "Hey man, I'm really glad you're here. It's awesome, new snake. You know, one thing I'd want to tell you about is maybe look at doing this." And then everybody's like, "Oh yeah, you shouldn't even have bought that snake unless you did your research first." And then they just rip into them, and that does not make that person want to stay in this hobby. You know, uh, it's terrible. Not much of a live stream guy, Dauber. Ah, this might be your first Patreon. Live streams are kind of fun, you know. I like them because I get instant feedback on what I do. Of course, I like making videos too because then I don't get instant feedback. I can just kind of do what I want. But it's going to be different. And next few videos, you're going to see something. Yeah, I hate people who do that kind of crap. You know, it's just, it ruins it. It ruins the hobby. It really does. Copy the Play Python mags, help get him interested. I always put on some Marvin Gaye, you know. Do I have any other males? Any other males? Oh, is somebody asking about breeding? You know, okay, now I think you're asking if I had any other males. I think I missed a question about that. Maybe I missed something. I don't know what it was, but and that is one of the reasons I do like them. It's yeah, and you know we're all in this for the same thing. And if you're in it for a business, which I am, I mean this is what I want to do for my life and my living. I want to get out of my normal job and just do this. When people push people out of the hobby from being a jackass on social media, it doesn't help. Like that costs me customers. Now I have been known to be mean to a troll on occasion, but they're never going to be a customer. They just want to come on here and complain about what we do in general. I don't feel anything for those people. And maybe I should. And if they're nice about asking questions like, "Well, why do you do this?" I'll tell them. Well, they come on, they just blah 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 blah. And I don't mind being mean to them. But anybody who's serious about the hobby or wanting to learn, even if they're doing something completely backwards, I try to help them, and if they can take my advice, or they'll have to take it when they're ready for it. You know, how do you? Can you touch on it? I'm sorry, Andrew. That's a great question, but just the way I read that, you know, like to get a mail, can you touch on it? Can you touch on it to get a mail interested? To get a mail interested, you got a couple things you can do, and one of the things I like to do is yes, there's a 2 mail trick, Ariana, but that's usually my last resort. First one is I try a shed, and yep, pythons is covering that on pythons on the plains. So you can throw in a shed for another breeder male, put in there, and then the sperm plugs. You guys are covering this shit for me. That's my second favorite one, where you just pop a male and you get that sperm plug on your thumb and you wipe it down the female's back. And then all those things, what you're really trying to do is create the environment of competition. And when you create that competition, you know, that animal's driven to pass on his genetics. And so all of a sudden now, even if he's a less dominant male, which he may be if he's smelling sperm plugs, he might just try to kind of sneaky Pete one in as a backdoor guy. You know, dad's away, I'll come in here, take care of business, and sneak out. And then to last case scenario, you can initiate some combat. When I say initiate some combat, that's putting 2 males with 1 female. You don't really want them to fight. I'll show you how it would go. So Like right now, let me just pick this up. Now, this isn't a problem male, okay? But we're going to do it anyway. Bloop. Let me flip this. That's not what I wanted to do. What do I want to do? Oh, yeah, I got to do it up here. Yeah, the old milkman trick. So here we go. We got, here. Let's say I want my Tofino to breed her. And he's been breeding, but he is not my most, and there's my Tofino. He is not my most prolific breeder. So let's say we put him in there. We want to really initiate breeding. And we're going to do the combat trick. So there we are, 2 snakes, no big deal, right? And I'm going to take another male. I don't want to go something crazy or like way bigger than him, but I do want to go with something that I know has been a good breeder. How about this guy right here? Boom, sauce. I put him in there too. Boom. So now we got 3 snakes in 1 cage. Close this up. And we're going to leave it like that for about 10 minutes. Now I'm going to stay in here. And don't let me forget I did that because it's not something I was thinking about doing today, but we're doing it anyway. And if we start hearing noises, we'll go ahead and remove that. Otherwise, what we're going to do is leave that in there for about 5 or 10 minutes, long enough for them to realize that they both are in there. And then you got to control who wins the combat. But I don't want to put either male out. So when this is the case with the Tofino being the weaker male would typically lose that combat in the wild, he'd take off. If they started going at it, he'd take off. And then, bam, you'd have the breeding. But we want the Tofino to win. So what we're going to do is let them kind of marinate for just a few. And it doesn't take long. You don't even 25 or 10 minutes. I'm actually just watching the clock. If I get to a couple minutes, I'm happy. And then I'm going to remove the lesser pastel male. And I'm going to put him to another female I want him to breed. So we're going to instantaneously make that happen. So they're both going to hopefully breed. They're both going to win the girl. It's just I'm picking which girl I want that Tofino to win. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. So I've never found that. Now, 2 males will lock. You get like overly aggressive males with too much pheromones and you're keeping things together. 2 males will lock and it can damage a male where they can't breed then sometimes. So you do got to be kind of careful on that one, Dauber. But I think in the animal world, at least, if you get the pheromones going, they are going to get the job done, so to speak. We'd be listening, yeah. So that's kind of the whole trick there. Not a lot to it. You don't want to do this and walk away because they will fight eventually. And when you do, if you walk away and they don't have anywhere to go, that fighting escalates. And when it escalates, then you can get a snake hurt. You can even get a male, like I say, locking a male and all kinds of problems from that. So, yeah, they'll get nuts. I mean, I've even had a guy who called me one time, and he was a friend of mine. He's like, "Hey, this is really weird. I put my snakes into breed, and they're slamming around in there. Like, I don't know, it's like they're tearing up furniture. It's like a bad, like a domestic going on up in that thing." And I was like, "Yeah, you might want to repop them." And of course, what happened was one that was sold to him as a female was a male. So he put 2 males together, and there's all this other pheromones going on. Of course, they started fighting like crazy. And that's why. Now he didn't do that on purpose, but it can certainly happen. So, yeah, it was a mess, So we also mentioned I want to get the whole case. I don't really think it occurs, but maybe it does. And you do have males that are infertile, and I haven't ran across that yet, but that's just been luck. We will, I'm sure, at some point. And it truly is the same hole actually on snakes. Well, I missed out like I was a K-State basketball. Popping scares you? Yeah. The thing I'd tell you when it comes to popping is find somebody locally that can teach you and let them show you because the pressures are the hardest things to get. And but if you can get that, then you're good. We tried to do a video showing the pressures we use by using a scale, and I think it's a pretty good representation. If I still wouldn't recommend anybody watching that video and going, okay, I'm a pro. What really helped me is the guy that taught me is a guy by the name of Dave Karnowski, and he really helped me by doing on my arm and the pressures. And something else too, Blake, or sorry, not Blake, names go by quick, or it was Becca, I apologize. It is hard to pop a 1,500 gram plus snake, but you're not always looking for hemipenes. So when you pop them, sometimes what you're going to look for is I may not see a hemipene, but I'll see a sperm plug. If I see a sperm plug, it's a dude, right? And if you're having problems getting it and you're not really sure, one thing you might do is kick your thumb a little bit to one side or the other, so you're putting more pressure on one of the hemipenes, and you may get one hemipene to pop out and not the other, and that will really help. So, yeah, and that's true too, Ariana, and it depends on the snake. So ball pythons, you got to be gentle when you pop them, but you can pop them when they're newborn if you're careful. It doesn't take much pressure, and I usually wait till after the first shed before I really call it, because I'm so worried about using too much pressure on them, and you got to be careful about pressure on the back of the spine and not here. That's where you're going to cause problems. Pinch it, but when you get into things like your green tree pythons and things like that, you can certainly damage them by sexing them. You can even damage them by probing them too early on because they're just so gentle when they first come out the egg. And Amazon tree boas would be another one. It's that body structure that you've got to be very careful. Now, some species too, you don't have to probe or pop. Some species you can simply count scales until. Unfortunately, ball pythons are not one of those species. It sucks. So we're left with doing the old popping. And I've always felt more comfortable with popping than probing. And it's like anything, there's good and bad. If you probe and you go too wrong or too far, you can damage stuff internally. It's kind of sucks. And there's something else on corns that I wasn't aware of because I don't ever work with corns. I don't work with enough retics that I could really do a comfortable popping video on retics. I'll be honest, guys. I pretty much work with 3 species of snakes right now, and I work with my ball pythons, my diamondback, or my rattlesnakes. I'd say all of them fall in there. I mean, you can break up your crotalus if you want, and then carpet pythons. That's about the only 3 things I really personally work with a lot. Or shop carries everything. And I filmed a lot of stuff. What I keep and what I work with on a daily basis, it's those 3. So, and because of that, my knowledge tends to be very, very focused on those species and not on others. And you can pop a rattlesnake, actually. And what you do, the GTP. Yeah, actually, the GTP moved out of the office today. The GTP will be on display in the reptile zoo. And I do work with GTPs. You're correct. I almost forgot about that one. GTP. They tried to bite me at least 18 times today. Kronos is in. I don't even know what the gallon is. I really don't. It's about, I don't know, yay long, yay tall, and about yay deep. That helps. It's probably like I don't know. It's one of the bigger reptile cages you can usually buy. So, sure, I can do that. Do you want to see it on a larger snake, since that's what you were asking about? I will grab one that I know is a male, and we will do it. We will do it. We will do it. How are you feeling today, buddy? Oh, I know. You're just... Now, one thing, too, is you're going to want to make sure they can calm down. And, like, right now, he's all rigid. So, like, let me stand up so you can see this better. I want to kind of get him to relax a little bit. And the way you'd pop a rattlesnake is using a tube, by the way. So, come on, buddy. And I'll get to the other questions. Somebody asked about this, bring up. I'm not sure what species you were talking about, whether it was carpets, GTPs, or rattlesnakes. And you're still kind of tensed up. And again, sometimes you just got to take your time with these larger ones, especially. You just kind of feel it. And then same thing. Thumb there, here. You're just not working with me today. And you got to get him to work with you. Boy, you'd ask. I have to pull one else uncooperative as I'll get out. Really? We're hamsters? Oh, I'm not good with rodents. There you go. And there you can see a sperm plug right there. Tells me that's a male. So definitely a male. But now I only got part of a peen to come out, but There you can see it. I'll show you another one that's going to cooperate a little bit better. But that was enough for me to say, hey, this is a male. So you can certainly tell. Hey, speaking of males, it's probably time that we separate our two, right? Let's go see what they are doing. And what you can see, we don't ship rats, unfortunately, right now, is there's no problems going on now, but it does. You got to use more pressure the bigger snake. But we're all kind of tuned up, and you can see how much stuff's on his back. He's been crawling around and moving, and they're both kind of crawling with the female. So we'll take him, and he's going to go right here, try to go get a breed in. Then we'll close this up, and hopefully those 6 minutes, I think it was, together would really get them going. Champagnes can have a wobble. I mean, they're very similar to spider in that way, but ours don't really wobble much at all. So we've been very, very lucky. Let's see here. Let's pop you. This is another male. This is one that I had 40 seconds left. Thank you. And he's cooperating more, so there you go. Boom, 2 peens right there, and both sperm plugs. He's cooperating really well, though, with it. So it just depends on how tense they are. And you can tell right there, I picked him up, so yeah, he's cooperating. We were going to get a good pop on him. And we did. We put him where he needs to go. Oh, she's in shed. It's all right. You're in shed, too. Go get her, big dog. Oh, I'll quit showing you guys the ceiling. Nobody wants to see that, right? Oh, there we are. So it's just kind of like that. Yeah, and like, you know, anything that's allelic with spider, if you look really close, you'll probably find contains a little bit of that. Like, so, you know, champagne and spider, bad combo, things like that. But champagnes, they don't really show it as much as spiders, and you really got to get, and they don't do the corkscrew as much, but there's a little bit of some of the same characteristics there if you know really closely what you're looking for. But I don't have any. I think champagnes are great. So it was a pretty nice ceiling. It's going to be a different ceiling soon, I promise. So, burrows. Oh, 2 clutches left from, yes, there are 2 clutches left from 18. One of them will be going on sale the first part of February. And then the other one we will probably be filming not long after that. To hopefully probably put up for sale in March or April. We can get back to shipping. And I'll get to that hydrogen phone here in a second. And then it's going to be a bit because we have to wait for the clutches to come from 2019, which we expect more clutches every year than the previous year. So it'll be more and more and more as this continues to grow. So as we get more people, you may think, oh, I'm going to have less chance of getting something. You won't, because I can guarantee you our growth in number of snakes we hatch is going to outpace our growth in number of people here long term. I believe we will, yeah, that's my goal anyway. So in the coming clutches, man, I am really, really looking. The process, the refrigerator. What are you putting in the refrigerator? I'm not sure what you're putting in there. Some things for cooling them. Yes, some things do go in the refrigerator. What I'm really looking forward to, excuse me, is some of the scales head stuff. I'm also really, yeah, David hit it, the Super Pastel Spider Exanthic. If we could hit that, I'll be over the moon. So I'm really looking forward to that. And so there's just definitely some things I'm looking forward to. And we are looking at also going to Reptilian Nation. And yeah, that's something we're going to probably do next year instead of Repticon. But I'm not sure yet. Repticon's always been very good to me, but I heard Reptilian Nation was completely crazy this year in Denver. And I hope to either go there some of my own animals or go there taking a friend's animals and selling for them again so we can make some more shows. And that's another clutch, too, I'm actually really excited about. If I can get her to go to see if they'll all come out like that, since I'm breeding to her brother, who also has some of the same look, would be really, really exciting. Speaking of which, might as well go ahead and put that clutch together since you asked for it. Oh, I already did. I did earlier. Yeah, I did. That's how things kind of tend to work. So that'll be nice. You get some really clean stuff on that. What about, was I thinking for a show, if I sell one? I don't think that's for me, is it, Dauber? If it is, let me know, because I'm confused. And I would love to go to New York, but New York is a really long drive for us. And I'm not going to be in Reptilian Nation in Cali on March 2nd. I can tell you that. I mean, Cali and New York are the furthest points of the earth, or North America for me. The closest I'm going to be to New York will actually be in, let's see, be May and June. Part of each one of those months, I will be on the East Coast in Washington, D.C., and in Virginia, but it won't be for reptiles. Uh, for our year anniversary, we're actually having, uh, oh, for snow, I don't know the price yet. I have to really look for it. So it is a really long drive for you, I understand. And we're actually driving to the East Coast. So this is going to be our honeymoon. For our 1 year anniversary, we're actually taking our honeymoon because after our wedding, we only spent about 3 days. Because we did a wedding that was kind of a destination. Nothing too exotic, like we went and got on a cruise ship or anything. We were in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, but it's a place we both love. So since we were there, we didn't go on a trip right after or go on a trip that year later. So come to Slan. 40 cool. Woof. And Arlington's not too far away for us at some point. But right now, guys, I mean, truth be told, I sold for my own animals. This is your all's fault, and I'm very happy you did it. For my own animals, I sold at one show this year, just one, and that was the Manhattan show. Like that was it. And we may be making a trip on something like the Racks at some point to film down there. That may absolutely be happening. So definitely. Yeah, I know. I got a lot of family in Texas, and nothing's close unless you're on the border. But we do want to do more traveling and filming. That is on our bucket list this year, so we're going to definitely be doing some of that. So, wow, that's awesome. And of course, I have a lot of respect that he was a sheriff because that's what I've been doing for the entirety of my adult life. Not the sheriff, just working for a sheriff. Treat me some barbecue. Okay, I'm gonna hold you to that. Now, you gotta remember we're close to Kansas City, so we're kind of barbecue snobs. Because you got Jack Stack, which is freaking amazing, and a few other places. Hand out swag. We do want to, like say, we do want to travel and film, so we're definitely on that. So, was she from Manhattan? Because there's a good chance she's a professor. She is likely been through Manhattan or through Lawrence because that's where our two major colleges are. Now we do have several other small colleges, like the wife is the educated one in our household, and she has been through Emporia, and then there was another one. There was one before Emporia. She did an associate's, did her bachelor's at Emporia, did her master's through Emporia, did her second master's certificate through K-State, and her PhD ABD through K-State. And then there's me, and for my education, I graduated high school in Oswego, Kansas. Right? So that's what I did. Right, Kansas City. Kansas City is about 2 hours down the road, but it's kind of funny. And right now it is a cold state here at the moment. It's been too cool to ship. Which is another reason why we kind of waited doing clutch updates. I still got crap to ship out, and it's going to get warm. You guys will tell me to make sure I get all the snakes to you. Because one problem I found with Patreon is there's people who have put money down on a Patreon snake, and then I don't. It's a different name when it comes through PayPal. So I want to make sure I get the right animal to the right person. So make sure to help me out. So absolutely I can sign your. Yeah, you must have. Did you must have bought one at one of the shows, right? We did sell a few at the shows, and yeah, that doesn't sound cheesy. Here's the thing: when it comes to signing, and we sign a lot of stuff here. We sign a lot of the shirts that go out. Not all of them, but a lot. And we sign a lot of clothing at shows, and we go to shows. And the first time that ever happened, it was really really weird, and it still is kind of weird for me. And it's not that I think it's weird somebody wants it. It's just weird that somebody wants that from me. I've been a sports fan my entire life, so I have a lot of autographed memorabilia from the Vikings and K-State and things I've acquired over the years. So I get it, but it's just weird that anybody would want that from from me to me. I'm just like feel like I'm some regular dude, but we definitely don't mind doing it. And I actually always find it flattering, so I'm very happy to sign a hat next time you meet me. It wouldn't be a problem at all. And some people don't want to sign, and that's fine too, David. It doesn't insult me when they don't. Like, you know, I don't walk around my own autograph, so definitely. Oh, that's terrible. We will never burn our Viking stuff. We are proud to be the you know, most snake bit franchise in the NFL. I've seen some really cool stuff being a Viking fan. I've been through some really bad experiences. So it just is one of those things. So go Hawks. Oh, Seahawks. You know, I was in the game that we should have beat you guys in the playoffs, but I wasn't in the game. I was at the game, I should say. That the field goal went wide left, and it was like -2 degrees outside with a -20 wind chill. Question Girl and I were sitting in the stadium that entire thing, and on that end, it was kind of terrible. It was as bad. And the Chiefs had a great year, so. And the city is scary. I would imagine. I've been to New York only once in my life, and I just found it was fun, but so many people all around me. I struggle with that. It was hard not to like, and yeah, I'm glad you guys got him. But it's, I don't know. I got yelled at in New York by cops for not taking a gun. True story. So that happened. Because yeah, like I didn't want to mess with the plane. Like, oh no, next time you bring that gun, and you know, I'm like, okay, sure, you know. It's the only time I've ever been yelled at for not bringing a gun. But we'll see how the Super Bowl goes. The only thing I can say is, you know, I want the Rams to win because I'm kind of with everybody else. Tom Brady and the Patriots have had a heck of a run. It's been amazing, but it's been going on too long. It's time for some new blood to win, right? And red media in the Super Bowl. But the good news is, I think if Tom wins this one, I think he rides off into the sunset, eating his kale on a unicorn, and then we can get on with the rest of our life. But it'll be interesting to see what happens if they do. It's just been. Now I will say though, I did not feel bad for the Saints. Sorry, Saint fans, but I never feel bad for Sean Payton. I felt horrible for Drew Brees, but I never feel bad for Sean Payton. Well, the thing of it was, Travis, is I was in New York and I started bullshitting with one of the cops there down in Times Square. And I mean, their whole shit's blingy, like their NYPD lights up and does crazy shit. And it was just funny. We're in Manhattan, and of course, you know, being from Manhattan and being in law enforcement, it was kind of one of those things. And I told him, he's like, "Oh, did you bring your gun with you?" I'm like, "No, I didn't bring my gun. I flew." And that was when I got in trouble. He's like, "Well, your expectation, we want you to bring that shit in case this falls apart." And I'm like, "Yeah, because if it falls apart, the guy over there with a gun on the corner trying to help you, you're not going to realize it's trying to help you." And that's how you get blue on blue shootings. But anyway, I see where he's coming from, and he's probably right. But I didn't, for one, pain in the ass to fly with, and two, because my now ex-wife didn't really want me to fly with it, which I understand. So, but yes, a lot of times I do keep it. And as far as the Browns go, I don't hate the Browns. I actually was pulling for him, and I love me some Baker Mayfield. He's so outspoken. You know, it's pretty fun. In 3 hours isn't bad for next, but we have one a year that's in our backyard. Everything else is the closest one's 2 hours in Kansas City. Of course, we've driven as far as Chicago. Actually, the first I drove was Florida, Daytona Beach. So sometimes, you know, you go a long way from so to Wisconsin. Well, the Snake or the Tinley show would be in Chicago, and I don't know if she goes to that or not. I couldn't tell you, but I know Denver's getting nuts, Corey. And I think it's, you know, Reptile Nation or Reptilian Nation, what they're calling themselves, is trying to put Repticon out of business. And once they do, I think you'll have less. But it's going crazy over there. And I don't know if it's going to be, I think it's going to hurt vendors because there's going to be so many of them that I don't know if you're going to get as many people wanting to attend. But I think whenever that all kind of settles down, it'll help vendors. So I've never even heard of DNA, but it seems like they're really trying to go at each other there. So. You know, our original slogan actually wasn't "want to see my balls" either. That was just the one that stuck. If you go back in the Wayback Machine and you find our early videos, we had a white shirt with a purple, just a purple spot on it with the emblem. on the back of it, some of them said "Own the Gods." That's right. And on our videos, it still says "Own the Gods." So technically, "Own the Gods" is still our slogan. But "Want to see my balls" is just so much funnier that it shows. Now, when I get this new caging in, I think you're going to see a little more "Own the Gods," but we're never going to drop "Don't Want to See My Balls." So that's definitely going to be a thing. Although I've been yelled at for "Own the Gods," actually, I've the two things I've heard is both, which is funny because I mean, I don't get your wife did appreciate it. I don't get too religious on these, but I'm not afraid of who I am, and I've always considered myself a Christian, but a Christian of the very accepting variety. And I have been yelled at because on the gods, I've been accused of being a devil worshiper or something like that for that one. And then because of the emblem we use, if you turn the snake on its side, which I actually hang a flag in here with the same emblem I'll show you there, I got told how that is a satanic emblem because it looks like 666. I don't see it. But so twice I've been accused of, and I'm just like, man, this is what gives people who are Christians a bad name, is when you do crap like that. So I got kind of like, knock it the fuck off. Pardon my language, but you're giving all this a bad name because you're spouting crap like that. And I had to explain what the emblem meant for the 1 billionth time. I've also been called a racist for that emblem multiple times, which is beyond me. It's an emblem of rebellion. It's not an emblem of race. But anyway, and yeah, because that snake is not a religious emblem, and it's not a racist emblem. It's not a satanic emblem. It's literally a piece of American history. And we will do some new shirts at some time. We've only done the one, but I need to design some more. So it's just a matter of getting to it, But we will at some point do some more shirts. No step on snake. And I keep the same thing tattooed here too, which says "Don't tread on me," and is a very similar emblem to that. So I mean, it's not just the same thing, And we might do another "Own the Gods" T-shirt. Kurt suggested one. That's a great slogan we were going to design. Just haven't done it, and it's from it was from the video where we kind of went off on a tangent and we were making fun of people on their negative comments. And I think I said, "Don't be a speciesist" instead of a racist. Don't be a speciesist. And he wants to put that on the one. So we may end up doing something with that, things of that nature. I prefer to use other people's phrases over mine. It's because I don't want to, I feel bad about self-promoting. But it's, that one's kind of cool. We could probably do that. Right. And, it's really interesting that, well, when we do the ones on the click and go to the T-shirt place ones, they have hoodies available you can get. So, yes. And it has to a point, T-Dakin, and they'll take that up too because it is a rebellion. And that was a rebellion against the tyranny. And so, and to me, I think in some ways, in this hobby, we kind of live in a tyranny now. And what I mean is we're looked down upon, you're creepy, you keep snakes, and they legislate against, I think, reptile keepers unfairly. Like in the city of Manhattan, which is just down the road, won't allow any constrictor over 6 feet. It's not allowed. So they really limit what you can keep. And there's no rhyme or reason to it. And you can't tell me that any constrictor over 6 feet is dangerous. That's the stupidest thing I've ever read. And so because of that, I feel like it's almost like a tyranny that we got to rebel against to a certain extent. Now, I'm not ready to outright rebel and start a civil war over snake laws, okay? But that is one of the reasons why I picked that emblem, is because we are kind of a rebellious group on the outside, and I wanted to portray that. And yeah, so it's, we have to stand against that tyranny, which is what they did with that original emblem whenever they were fighting. So, that's where it came from for me. That's right. I actually know the people I'm going to go see. I always said if there's a major disaster. One time, and this is where I think I scared my family. They were like, "Well, everybody's talking about what would we do in a zombie apocalypse?" And you know, this, that. Someone's like, well, I could do the cooking. I've done this. And they're like, oh, what'd you do? I said, well, I'd go out in the woods and I'd wait for somebody to hunt. And when I hear them hunt, I see them take that deer, I'm going to rob them while they're dragging that deer out of the woods or that food item. One, because they're not prepared. Two, because they're dragging an animal. So I'm going to rob them. I'm going to take their weapons. I'm going to take their food. And then I'm going to kill them quietly without a gunshot to conserve ammo, take their boot, take everything I want from them first, and leave them to be, you know, munched on by zombies, so they just never make it back to their camp while I steal all their goods, including their food that they just hunted. That's what I'm going to do. And I think my family thought I was crazy, but it works. Made sense to me at the time. But all right, guys, I didn't give it some thought. It was a spur of the moment question. I'm like, well, this is kind of how I'd do it, you know? Right. And, you know, in this world, it's, well, I'm definitely not the quiet one. I probably wouldn't survive long for that. Diamondback, that's what I would need. Diamondback venom lace blow dart. Make face swell up, right? We could do something with that, Eric. That would be pretty funny. And we just got to get better at making our images. You know, we have a guy that's went to design some really cool rattlesnake image. I got to get on that. Some other things too. So you feel the need to leave Patreon all of a sudden. Not sure why. Why would you want to do that? Don't leave us, Travis. I'm not sure what was causing that, but if we've said something that you think was offensive, let us know, because that's not what our goal is. Obviously, you know, since the zombie apocalypse thing, it's, oh, good. I'm like, we're not trying to be offensive. And I have offended people on pure accident multiple times, but it happens. So, guys, if there's a few other things you want to see, let me know. If not, I'm going to have to get off here because I left the wife on the couch doing some work. But I know she'll be ready for bed, and I literally right now have to basically help her stand up. Just give her something to grab a hold of so she can pull herself up where she's sitting. Because that nerve is just so bad for her right now. And she actually hurt it helping me. So I definitely owe her a lot, you know. Killing hundreds in the apocalypse. That's good. I mean, it's just the way you survive. Well, she hurt herself painting. And, you know, it's just, she just moved wrong, bent too much something and strained or pulled that muscle a little bit. And that was then caused the swelling into the sciatic nerve. And wait till you see it, because we just really filmed an update video on it. We have probably 95% of the painting done in the new reptile room. Most of the new lighting installed. I'm going to go there to do some finishing work tomorrow. What's left on the painting. And I don't do any painting because all the bending over that you have to do in your painting, if I do that for a day, I'm not walking for 3 with my own back issues. And so, you know, her parents came down, and her parents did all the painting. Kurt and his dad had done all the sanding and things before. And I covered this section of Patreon video down the road that we just filmed. You know, and I did a lot of the light installation, removed some doors and changed some things and did some things on that. And it's really starting to come along. And here soon we'll start moving these spare racks over to get them ready. And so it's going to be great. I got a TV mounted for you guys. We're working on getting some of the video game systems in. We just got to get the kitchen done. And my hope is this year to have it, you know, now if you're on the $100 level and you've earned the right to come stay, you can come stay. It's not going to be, you know, overly nice right now. I'll warn you. I mean, there's shit in the way. There's cabinets everywhere need to be installed and crap like that. But when we get it all done, I want to get it ready this year where we can at least start having people come stay. And of course, we'll add to it and make it better as we go on and move forward. We're not really going to get new TGR racks right now. And when we do, they will be white. I mean, we just needed the space to add more when the time comes. And so we'll move the empty ones, because I got some that are empty over to start moving them, you know, there. I usually put both on there if I have both. I need to do it a different way. I'll probably start going to, like, I'll show you, because I need to find where they get these. Somebody probably already knows. I'll need to switch it over. So, like, right now, hey, come here. Trying to get this thing to do what I want is kind of a problem child sometimes. Oh, the PS4 stay at the house. There'll be a PS3 there right now. We wanted to make it kind of classic, so I want to probably put an old Nintendo if I can find one. It's like here, I got the Morph label there, you know, and the name up here after you guys name that one. Same thing here. Serial number, name, morph is on there. You know, it's always in the same order: name, year of we think it was born. This is the one we bought, obviously, and the morph. You know, some of them just like that one just says proven because it's a normal. You know, so Sin Pinstripe 2013 female. So we kind of put both of them on there, and BO2. What is BO2? I don't know what BO2 is. And well, there won't be room for a pool table, unfortunately. I had thought about that, but there's not going to be room. It'd have to go in the reptile room area, which isn't going to be over. Now, there will maybe someday be a pinball machine. Not yet, but we're working on it. I don't have Black Ops. What we will have, and I don't know if it'll be there right away. I've got the cabinet for it. Is we got an old arcade of Centipede, right? And so it's the original cabinet's white, got the green Centipede on, it looks bitchin'. And we're gonna have that converted into a multi-cade, have a joystick added with the roller ball. So you'll be able to go and play like a ton of classic, you know, old school arcade games on there, which would be really awesome. So I'm looking forward to that. Somebody said take out the snake. Which snake? Oh, Sobek will be there. So what's going to be there right now is Sobek will have this really huge. We're kind of debating on the size right now and how to build it. We're looking at probably at least 3 foot wide and 6 feet long. We may go 6x4 reptile cage. So it's going to be there. I can't wait for that. So he'll have this huge thing in the middle, and all of our venomous stuff will be there. Carpet, but they'll be all in the reptile display room. Now that'll be shut off because I know people have kids and it's a security thing unless we're there. But we'll end up being over there, and a lot of the times when you're there, people will go through there. Then the ball python and the ball pythons. So it's definitely coming. We're definitely getting there. So take out the snakes but leave Sobek. I can't. I need it because I want to expand that. So right now we have 3 venomous snakes there. I plan on having a few more of those down the road, and I plan on having like my carpet pythons in there, and also like green trees in there, and then Kurt wants to maybe do some blood pythons, and they would be in there. So we'll have all these snakes around, probably 15 to 17 displays eventually. The first start, you're probably looking at 3 in Sobek, but it's going to be a constantly evolving, expanding thing. So Titanfall 2. You guys have played a lot more games than I have, you know. Oh, Sega Dreamcast. We're probably on the Sega Dreamcast there with Crazy Taxi. That's pretty damn cool, right? So I don't. Well, actually, I do. The one I have is supposed to be a female, but I need to get her sexed again, and I'm not overly comfortable sexing because they are very gentle. And then we bought a female and a male, and the male died. He doesn't have the stuck urate, so he died. So I'll need to add a male down the road and grow him back up. But for a while, because we needed to fill the cage at the zoo, it was supposed to be something else. We haven't got anything yet. We have put our female green tree there. So it's not a bad idea. I mean, I'm sure we'll definitely work on doing something cool. And when I say the cabin's, like it's literally right by my house. So, oh, the female carpet? Yeah, I could try that. See what kind of mood she's in today. And how you feeling, girlie? You want me to take you out? Yeah, there you go. She's being good. So you can see we're almost the size on her. We're really working. Got a little bit longer to go. And she is doing really, really well. I can't wait to get her in a more upright cage. Let her be more of a carpet python. This is kind of a temporary thing that went a little longer than I wanted because other things kind of got in the way. And she's doing really great. And you can be confident with these guys. They're actually really friendly. You just got to kind of watch them. And sometimes you got to work at them a little bit. And when they're babies, they're bitey as hell. But as they get some size to them, which she's now gotten, they tend to get pretty docile and pretty nice. And their colors are just fantastic. They do move around a lot. So if you're used to ball pythons, it is a whole different world there. But you can see she's doing really good. All right, baby girl. Let's get back in there. A little while longer, then we'll get you in your new cage. And then you got to just make sure she, there we go, has a safe spot where she's in. You don't pinch her tail or anything, and we're good. You know, I haven't really looked at an actual weight. They want to usually be about 3 years old. I just want her to be a little bit bigger, probably another year of her eating good. When she's taking down medium rats, I'll feel a lot more confident in her. When she's as bigger than the male, then I'm ready to go. So, yeah. All right, guys. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I hate when they escape with that. Any ovulations yet? Uh, yeah, Dylan, that sounds like an ovulation. You know, I just showed that one. That looks like it's probably ovulating right now. Let's see here. This is another one that might be a really good example. Let's see how she's doing. Definitely in glow. This is a straight Mojave. And that one is not ovulated. Well, you can start to see that swell right there. Boom. I mean, you can see it's kind of, I think we may still be growing some. Well, no. There you are. That's ovulation. It's at least the beginning of it. So we do have some that are kind of getting there. And once they go into the shed, it's going to be time to turn on the incubator. So there's definitely some good swell going on. About 3 or 4 females around here. So is there a place you can ship me things? Yeah, Dauber, just the address we got listed, the 5912 Charm Drive, Manhattan, Kansas, would be perfect. And thank you, Cricket. We love you too, and we appreciate you being here. So I see thick. I do, and that's really exciting. This is what I'm excited about. I need to get her to ovulate. Right now we're in shed, but if I can get her to ovulate, and you can see she's pretty thick. Looks to be some signs of it going on there, but hopefully we'll continue that growing. I don't think we're ovulating yet. I think we're just kind of getting some growth to us. But hopefully she does, because that would be our best shot at Killer Bee Exantix this year. Yeah. All right, guys, let me hop up off of here, and I will catch you all next week. Know that I appreciate you all greatly, and the things that we do here are directly because of you, and that means the world to me. All right, guys, thank you so much. We'll see you soon.